Today's topic is inhibition, one of our key elements of executive function. What is inhibition? It is that ability to regulate your response to all of those distractions and other things you'd rather be doing than the task at hand. That means that can you sit down and start and finish the task without being distracted or sidetracked with something else? In today's world, that's really hard. I think even for the most skilled people at executive function, that's very challenging because of technology. You have emails, you have text messages, you have phone, you have the internet, you have Google, you have all these things that are coming at you when you're trying to get a task done. And because so many of our tasks are done on the computer, you go to Google to answer a question, and before you know it, you've gone down a rabbit hole because it's gone to several other things. So what are some key things that we can do for inhibition? Number one, if you have a task that's going to require some significant concentration, remove the distraction, remove the phone, put it in a different room. Don't just turn it off or someplace else because you can still see it. Put it in a different room. Literally, if you're going to be working on the computer, there are many different apps that are available today that allow you to actually turn off all of those notifications that you have an email or a text or something coming in. You can also turn off the ability to even go look at those websites that are so tempting for you to take a look at. So if you don't have the ability to control it, or your child doesn't have that ability to control it, you have apps that can actually limit what you're able to do, and they limit it for a certain amount of time. Another part that you have to understand is that most people think that they are really productive when they're doing 5 things at once. And I can tell you that the research shows one thing at a time is more efficient than doing 5 things at once. Why is that? While your brain may like that fast pace going from one thing to another, you are incorporating what's called switching costs. That time that you need to switch from one thing to the next. And that time is actually extra time and effort. So you want to do one thing at a time. Now, if you struggle to sit down for a long period of time, perhaps take that 2 hours of work that you have to do and chunk it into 3 or 4 or 5 chunks. Complete a chunk, give yourself a break for the technology. The other part of it is, I would say that honestly, very few people can be productive for a solid 2 hours straight. We think we can, but I tell people, if you were an athlete competing in the Olympics, even they need to take breaks. And what you might think is that if I take a break, it's going to take more time. But I will tell you that if you take the break, you'll actually be more productive. So you might actually set a timer after 1 hour or 55 minutes. Take a 5-minute break, make that break productive, move, get your oxygen going, and then come back and resume for another 55 minutes. The final thing that I'm going to share with you to help you kind of keep that inhibition in control, and this is actually very, very helpful, and sometimes what your kids are really asking for you when they say, sit down with me while I do my homework. They're asking you to be a body double. What they're really saying is, I need somebody to keep me accountable. I need somebody to actually make me do this. And as your kids grow up, they may use FaceTime with their friends to be able to be that body double. And that's essentially what they're doing. They're being a body double, and they're getting a body double to keep them on task. So if you go into your child's room and you hear them on FaceTime with their friends, don't assume they're messing around. They may just be getting their body double to keep them on task, just like we did as young kids. We actually went to each other's house and did homework together. We don't need to go to the house now, we just use FaceTime. So if you have that difficulty with controlling your inhibition, use the removal of those distractions, chunk it out, use a body double, and take those breaks.